Hi everyone, my name is Madeline and I am the owner of Madeline Taylor Creative Studio, which is my design and marketing business that helps small businesses and solopreneurs to level up their branding, business processes, and marketing efforts. So I've been a creative person since I can remember, and I always dreamt of working in a creative job as an adult. As fate would have it, I was persuaded to choose a path that seemed more stable, and I went on to study at the University of Toronto, graduating in 2019 with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Gender Studies. I worked full-time while getting my degree in the communications office at my university, first as a contract worker and then as a full-time staff member. And it was in this office that I learned about strategic business communications, crisis communications, which came in extra handy this year, and had a chance to flex my creative skills in graphic design, photography, social media, video production, voice acting, and animation. So in addition to working for the university, I also freelanced on my weekends for social media influencers in Toronto and worked with brands like President's Choice, Make Lemonade Co., and Bugaboo. My partner Mitchell and I moved from Toronto to Albert County at the beginning of April 2020 after purchasing a cabin on a beautiful piece of land on Albert Mines Road. We both grew up in a very small rural town in Ontario, not unlike Riverside, Albert, and after many years of living in Toronto, we were itching to get back to a smaller place where we could easily enjoy nature, since we're big hikers, as well as contribute to a tight-knit community. We truly believe that Albert County is a special part of Canada, and the people are what make this county so incredible. Our neighbors have become like family, and through our shared Instagram, our little outpost, we've made so many incredible friendships and memories in New Brunswick already. We've been pleasantly surprised to see the amazing support for small businesses and local purchases here in New Brunswick, and I was thrilled when I was asked by the ACTA to help with some training for small business owners in the area. I've definitely enjoyed some of your businesses already through farmers markets, trips to the Starving Artist in Moncton, and I can't wait to get to know more of you over the next few years. So over the next 2 weekends, I'll be sharing what I've learned about digital marketing and social media in the 7 years I've been working in the industry. We'll be covering the basics, and I'll be including my best tips and tricks along the way. So each seminar will be about an hour and 20 minutes of information, and will include a 10-minute coffee, tea, bathroom, stretch your legs break, as well as some breakout sessions to practice some of what I've taught you, and time set aside for questions at the end of each section. So if you have a question that doesn't get answered in the time allotted for them, please send me your question in an email, and I'll compile a Q&A expanded email that answers all of the extra questions in one place. That Q&A document will be sent out to all attendees in the days following our webinar. I understand more than I would like that rural internet can sometimes be tricky. So if you are booted off the webinar, lose connection, or having technical difficulties at any time, please don't stress. The webinars will be uploaded to YouTube and can be watched at your own convenience pace, or just when your internet decides to cooperate. Every person who attends the webinars will receive a digital package of simple notes, so you can just sit back and let all this juicy information soak into your brain without worrying about writing everything down, and a free resource list that will help you integrate some of this information into your business practices. The resource packet and notes are in a Google folder that was shared with you, but that being said, please feel free to take notes if that is your learning style. There are some instructions on the Google folder, so please make sure you read that document first. I believe it says read first in all caps. I'm going to do my best to make sure this webinar is interesting, valuable, and at a pace that makes sense. Digital marketing and social media are absolutely enormous topics, and there is so much to learn and digest. Since this stuff all takes place online, it is constantly evolving, and it's something that requires lifelong learning. I want to meet you where you are rather than overwhelm you with lots of intricate details. And most of what I talk about will require you to have basic computer literacy. You'll probably struggle if you don't, but I will include some great resources to bring your knowledge base up to where it should be in the free resource packet. If you have any questions after the webinar or sometime in the future, please feel free to send me an email at hello@madelinetaylor.ca. Alrighty, so let's learn some digital marketing. And if you hear any kerfuffles in the background, that's probably my cat June. So, as we've all seen, the last year has pushed a lot of our daily activities online. School, doctor's appointments, job interviews, and more have all pivoted to ensure safety through online processes. As a result, many businesses, both big and small, have also had to find ways to push through this pandemic through online means of communication, commerce, and marketing. And you are not alone in this. Businesses all over the world have gone through the growing pains of turning an in-person business into a viable online business in a matter of weeks or months. And even once the pandemic subsides, market research shows that businesses will continue to be expected to have an online presence, if not online offerings as well. So that's why digital marketing and social media are so important now and will continue to be in the future. Traditional forms of marketing, while still super valuable, will not give you the same amount of reach and not with the same budget that going online can give your business. And by becoming more confident and comfortable with digital marketing theory and techniques, you can start to implement these practices into your business model and experience the benefits of going digital. The key to online marketing is to create a presence for yourself and your business and learn how to stay present at the right time to capture your customers' attention as well as their support. Since we live in a capitalistic society, we all have experienced what it's like to be on the other side. So imagine the way you decide on one business or another when you are the client or the customer. One of the first things I do when searching for a restaurant is to Google them. Find a website, maybe an online menu, reviews. And rather than calling that restaurant or a storefront to ask about their hours, I will always look online for a website, a Google business profile, or a social media account where hours might be listed or updated. And now, updated is really key there. Whether your business is online or not, your target audience probably is, and they have access to resources that make their buying decisions easier. An increasingly digital world allows customers to be completely in control of their buying process, and then what businesses they interact with in real life. So let's give you some of that control back as a business owner and empower you to put your best face forward online. To begin, we're going to go over some digital marketing basics. Some of this information will be familiar to you, even if you haven't heard of the technical names or theories before today. I also want to point out that there is no shame in not already feeling comfortable with digital marketing or social media as a business owner. Making your business known digitally and committing to a social media account or managing your own website, these are all huge tasks and they overwhelm even the most seasoned business people. Working for yourself is already a huge accomplishment and you should feel proud to have created a business for yourself. It's something not many people are brave enough to do. Alrighty, so let's jump right in to the 3 types of media that you can use to market your business. The first type is paid media. As the name suggests, this is media and marketing that you pay for. In a digital scenario, this will be the online advertising, maybe through Google Ads, Facebook ads, or promoting content you've created through a social media platform. Non-digitally, this would be maybe advertising in a newspaper, a magazine, or a billboard. The second type of media is owned media, and this is all the digital assets that you own or create for your business. Owned media includes your website, your social media channels, a blog with active readership, your email lists, it goes on. And that third type of media, and the most special type, is earned media. Earned media refers to organic press. Sorry, 1 second. Let me take that. So earned media refers to organic press, a story in the newspaper or a radio interview, social media features or mentions, news articles, or any kind of feature on a platform that is not something that you manage. This type of media is definitely harder to get, but it can give you access to a larger and newer audience that you might not be able to reach on your own, aka your owned media. These three types of media overlap to create your customer experience. If you are new to making your business digital, owned media is the place to start. So creating a Facebook page, building a simple website, posting blogs, these are all very low-cost ways to create an online presence for your business. They are also extremely important if you are investing in paid media or have gained earned media access, because paid and earned media push potential clients and customers to your owned media offerings. So you want to make sure that presence is well done and updated. Having a chance at earned media can be absolutely life-changing for your business. Let me give an example of these media types in action. So, my partner and I run an Instagram called Our Little Outpost. While our Instagram is our main channel, we also have a Facebook page, a website, and a blog, as well as a TikTok account. TikTok is a video sharing platform where you share videos that are 1 minute or less and are taken in a portrait mode. So like this versus long. So one evening we posted a TikTok about our story of moving from Toronto to New Brunswick. This is the video that we shared. So we didn't think much of it. We went to bed and we woke up to over 250,000 views on our video. This account, our TikTok account, our website, and our Instagram page, they are all great examples of owned media. We made the content ourselves and we shared it on accounts that we own. That TikTok was seen by journalists across Canada, which was crazy. And within 24 hours, we had interview requests from the CBC, the Globe and Mail, and some well-known Toronto blogs. Those interviews were turned into news features, which gave us the privilege of earned media. The news articles linked back to our Instagram account and our website, which benefited us immensely and led to 3,000 new followers over the next 30 days. That earned media opportunity led to some awesome growth on our own channels, which is why it's so important to work on your owned channels first. Another example is one of our posts on that Instagram account recently performed really well because of good hashtag strategy. And don't worry, I'm going to cover that during the social media webinar. So because it performed well, Instagram gave us a $20 credit to promote that post. We had never tried using paid media before, and we used the credit to create a 4-day promotion of that photo. Instagram is starting to do that for small creators and small businesses. They want us to utilize their promotional opportunities. Over the next 4 days, we gained 70 followers because Instagram has that special algorithm that helps push your content out to a target audience you aren't already reaching. So this is an example of how you might use paid media to benefit your owned channels and in turn, your business as a whole. All right, so now that you understand the types of media you might make or encounter while marketing for your business, let's chat about strategy. This is the good stuff. So the majority of marketing is self-serve today. Consumers get to choose what modes of communication they participate in, and so as a business owner, you need to be online with a purpose and then build a strategy that will connect you with your target audience. If you can consistently do this, you will see a return on your investment. There's no doubt about it. There are 3 types of strategy you'll need to consider to make sure that your efforts online aren't wasted. The 3 types are business strategy, brand strategy, and marketing strategy. To do this, you'll need to have a strong understanding of the following. So the first is your business plan, and an updated one at that. how you want to be perceived by the market you are in or hope to break into, who exactly is your target audience and how are those people using digital technology, and lastly, what online channels you want to build into your business. So you'll be using that information about your business as a blueprint for your strategic approach to an online presence that makes sense for you. That's the most important part. It needs to make sense for you and your business. Simply, you want to try to narrow in on the shared space where your business goals and the goals of your ideal customer coexist. So try to forget that you're selling a product or a service and work on creating an experience that has value, not just for your customers, but for yourself as well. This is the key to sustainable business practices that inspire commitment from your ideal client and keep you invested instead of burnt out in the day-to-day of running your business. So creating a shared value experience for both you and your customers is the best way to ensure success. Your business strategy is kind of like your business plan expanded. Some great questions to ask yourself are, is my business already digital? What parts of my business could benefit from a digital presence? Do I have the right structures in place for online efforts to fit into my business processes? Do I have the time to maintain a consistent strategy for online efforts? If it's not going to be consistent, don't try it. What is the big picture for my business right now, and what do I expect will change in the next 5 years? That's a tough one because this year a lot of change happened. Hopefully COVID is not something you have to consider in the next 5 years. Next up, what are the biggest pain points for me in my business, and how could digital marketing solve those challenges? To move into your brand and marketing strategies, you're going to need the following. So the first is a mission statement. So that's a one-sentence summary that defines what you're trying to do or achieve with your business. Next up is organizational objectives. These are the pieces necessary to keep your business running and maintain brand identity. Your organizational objectives are never just sell A to B, so try to think more holistically. Yes, you want to sell something to someone, but why are you doing that? What is the purpose behind what you're selling and who you're selling to? Think about your business goals from a perspective of solving a problem or creating that valuable shared experience that we talked about earlier. And that brings us to the value proposition of your business. Why do you stand out? What makes your business unique? Why might someone choose you over your competition? And a little hint, this often comes down to you more than you'd think. It's the story of you and your business that makes your product or services attractive to your ideal customers. The last thing you want to make sure you know is your elevator pitch. You've probably heard this term before, and it's a really important part of your business strategy that can often be overlooked. Your elevator pitch is your mission statement, your organizational objectives, as well as your value proposition come to life in one concise summary of your business and your brand. It really is what you'd say to someone asking you about your business if you only had a few floors of elevator ride to convince them that your business was the best business out there. So next up is your customer strategy. You will want to understand how to reach the correct audience for your business, and to do that, you have to understand who your target audience is and where to find them. So, what does your target audience want to accomplish, and how can your business help them do that? We're going to create a scenario that we run a contracting business. Like you and I, we run a contracting business, and we're just going to kind of talk through some of the things we are going to consider in trying to find our ideal customer as a contracting business. So if we run this contracting business, our ideal customer might be new homeowners and existing homeowners who are looking to upgrade their house. From that information, we can start to extrapolate details about who they are and what platforms we could find them. New homeowners are probably younger folks with smaller budgets, and with the current housing market, probably buying out of the city to avoid larger mortgages. Since they are younger, let's say between the ages of 25 to 35, we can imagine they are active on platforms like Instagram, possibly TikTok, and maybe Facebook. Existing homeowners who are looking for a nice upgrade are probably older, maybe even retired, with budgets that allow for more beautiful contracting projects. They are likely not on TikTok, and your best digital marketing strategy for them will be Facebook and directing them to an email list. As you can see, it's important to get specific, and we're going to be talking more about how to do target audience research later in the webinar, but for now, remember that you'll need to be as specific as possible because there is no street traffic to notice your beautiful sign in an online space. The following questions can help define your customer strategy. So, what is your goal as a business? What do you do best? Well, we know you're a contractor, and you're great at fixing up houses. Oh. Okay, so we know that you're a contractor and you're great at fixing up houses in a beautiful way. What are the goals of your customer and how do those goals overlap with yours? So your customers want to have a beautiful home to live in within their budget. These goals obviously overlap with yours, so you guys are a match made in heaven. So what are the key performance indicators or KPIs? How are you going to measure your success? Your contracting business will measure your success by completing a project within the agreed upon budget and time frame, getting a great review from your client, and being referred to your client's friends and family for future projects. Next thing to consider is what is your target? This is related to your KPIs and will determine how many things or projects you want to sell, and also your goals for followers, likes, shares, or inquiries. For your contracting business, your target after a job well done might be a 5% increase in Instagram followers, maybe after posting before and after content and updates on the project showing off all that you can do. Maybe 3 new inquiries for leads and 10 new potential clients on your email list. Your marketing strategy follows your customer strategy and consists of individual marketing plans tailored to the goals within the scope of your target audience. To do this, you will 1. Need to identify your specific business goal. 2. Identify the audience you are targeting and the associated customer strategy. 3. Determine the channels you will use to interact with your target audience. And 4. Plan to utilize one or more of the media options we discussed earlier. So if you remember, that was paid, earned, or owned media. Your marketing strategy is something that is always changing and evolving to best suit your business needs and your consumer. So you want to continue to collect data from your social channels, learn about your customer, and investigate new ways and opportunities to connect with them. One of the free resources I've created for you is the marketing plan template that you can use to create your own marketing plans with the information you learned today. That template is available in the Google folder you received access to through the email you used for this webinar. It's important to remember that you don't need to use every channel under the sun to see a return on your efforts in digital marketing. And actually, you're going to see better results if you choose just a few channels that make sense for your business goals. It's important to understand what it will take to build out that channel and the value that will derive from the effort you put in. The social media webinar will tackle some tips on how to decide what channels make the most sense for your business. The last digital marketing basic I'm going to cover is the concept of a marketing funnel. The marketing funnel is best explained while looking at an actual funnel shape, so I'm going to put that up there, with the wide mouth of the funnel being the start of your buyer journey. As this shape illustrates, not everyone is going to be able to make it to the bottom of the funnel. The marketing funnel is made up of 4 parts. So the first part is awareness, that's the widest part of the funnel. Next is interest, then we have desire or consideration, and lastly, action. So during the awareness section, a prospective buyer has to be aware of their problem and your solution. It's during this stage that your brand is exposed among your competitors. Interest is when your prospective buyer explores the products and services available. This research is now often done using a computer, which is why digital marketing is more important than ever. This research is now often done using a computer, which is why digital marketing is more important than ever. Next is desire or consideration, which is when the prospective buyer wants to make a decision. They've decided to solve their problem. They are now just deciding on who will be their problem solver. They are evaluating their choices. So next is the action stage, which is when a prospective buyer decides to buy or not. The top of the funnel is where your focus as a business owner should be on attracting leads. So you want to be attracting attention to your business, your product, or your services through digital channels. So whether that be a website, social media, email marketing, you name it. The middle of the funnel is where you want to keep that nurturing process going and moving your leads forward in the process. Digital marketing is probably going to move your buyer up and down the funnel a few times before they make it to the bottom. So keep that in mind. It's kind of a up and down process rather than straight through like what you would see when you're walking through a Walmart, let's say. The bottom of the funnel is retaining a client and then making a sale. The journey through the funnel needs to be strategic, and you want to do everything possible to keep pushing your customer through all the stages of the funnel, sometimes more than once. With more and more e-commerce and research happening through mobile devices, a prospective buyer, like I said, is constantly up and down the funnel for your brand and probably other competing brands as well. This is why it's helpful to understand what the marketing funnel is like for your competitors, so you can optimize yours for the best possible customer experience. Having tact as the business owner increases your buyer's positive perception of your brand and your business. This means being authentic, having a good understanding of your customer's journey through the marketing funnel, giving your customers what they need at each stage in that funnel, etc. So try to imagine yourself as a person who is just learning about your business for the very first time. Maybe someone who is aware of the problem you can solve and someone else who is not aware of their problem or the solution. Imagine how those individuals would become aware of their problem and then your solution. How might they become interested in your business and how would they find out about it? Once they know your business exists, how would they learn more about what you offer? What would motivate them to buy from you versus your competitors? And how can you best move them through the funnel to convert them into a paying and hopefully returning customer? These are all amazing questions to ask yourself to learn more about how you can improve your customer experience, increase your conversion of leads to customers, and learn more about the business you've built along the way. Before we move on to branding, I want to cover a few marketing definitions you might run into while doing some marketing research on your own. These definitions are going to help you understand better how to measure your own success, research your target audience, and get more out of additional marketing resources you might find online. So the first is digital marketing KPIs, or key performance indicators. And they refer to the use of values to track and measure marketing campaign performances. KPIs are part of any marketing strategy, and the values may be assigned to different areas of your business, including productivity, social media analytics, or your finances. You will want to create KPIs to plan future marketing strategies. Business areas and target goals are prioritized to select indicators that will be most effective in building a marketing strategy. Those metrics and data are then used to predict future campaign performances. Next up is ROI, which refers to the abbreviation of return on investment. For a business to have a positive ROI, the business must have a higher revenue from the campaign than their campaign out-of-pocket expenses. In other words, you must make more money from the campaign than what you spent to create it. UI refers to the abbreviation for a user interface, which is where a user and a digital device interact. A user interface should be user-friendly. UX refers to the abbreviation for user experience. User experience refers to how a user interacts with a website or an app. For instance, the web pages a visitor visits while on a site, how the visitor scrolls a page, and maybe areas they hover over on a page before they make a click. Knowing visitor site behavior, or UX, helps businesses to improve their conversion rates. It's essential to create a good user experience since this is what drives repeating users as well as your engagement. Digital marketing segmentation refers to a marketing strategy of subgrouping customers, consumers, or prospects from a broad consumer or business market. So characteristics are used to classify the groups, which are based on details like past purchases, requesting information on a product or a service, common interests, lifestyles, etc. Dividing customers and consumers into segments allows you to better focus on your high-yield groups, so customers, consumers, and businesses that are likely to purchase and have a higher growth potential. You want to put the most amount of effort into the areas of your business and consumers that are going to give you the most return, or ROI, return on investment. E-commerce refers to electronic commerce. The term classifies all online businesses. A common e-commerce business is an online retailer that sells products directly to consumers. So engagement rate refers to the percentage of followers or viewers that engage with a post. In other words, engagement rate shows businesses how much people interact with their published piece. Various factors influence engagement, such as users' comments, their shares, saves, likes, etc. And engagement rate is a metric that's strongly used in analyzing social media. Google algorithm refers to a mathematical system that is designed for Google search engines. Google is probably where you go if you had a question or you wanted to find something out about a business you were interested in. So these search engines determine where the websites will be positioned in the search result pages. The algorithm is also referred to as the core algorithm. Google updates this algorithm approximately 500 to 600 times per year, or 2 times a day. With that update, website positions can fluctuate from day to day, which is actually a great thing because it means that as you update your website, you improve your website, and even if you currently have a website that you know isn't performing well, you're not seeing your business come up when you Google yourself, because your algorithm is constantly being updated, if you make improvements, you're going to see an improvement in where you sit on Google's returns. So Google's actual algorithm is kept a secret so that webmasters and marketers cannot manipulate the system to gain higher rankings. So that's a good thing. There's no working the system. Keywords, which relate to the Google algorithm, refer to a word or a phrase marketers use in page and marketing content. Google and other search engines recognize keywords in search browsers and SEO content. For instance, a user types in a keyword to complete a search. Google recognizes the keyword and scans content related to that keyword. Businesses that focus on search engine optimization are recognized in the search engines first through their keywords. Keyword density refers to the number of times or percentage a keyword appears on a web page compared to the total word count of that page. You do have to be careful though, because if you're stuffing, it's called keyword stuffing. If you're stuffing your content with a bunch of keywords just over and over again, Google is going to flag that and it actually can disadvantage you. So you kind of have to find that perfect balance. The idea of niche marketing is to target smaller segments of the online population for more significant marketing results. As a business, you must identify the needs, wants, and requirements of a group of consumers to target those consumers strategically. So now we're going to move on to questions. If anyone has any questions, now the time, I'm going to pause my video on my end and come on live. All right, so now that we've gone over the basics of digital marketing theory, we can move on to the fun stuff. So that's defining a brand for your business. When you hear the word brand, you might think of a clothing label, like the answer you'd give your friend if they asked where you got your boots from, maybe Mark's Work Warehouse, Blundstones, or Timberlands, or what type of car you drive, Subaru versus Toyota. That said, every business has a brand that speaks to its customer base, and it's up to you to build that brand with strategy in mind. The difference between digital marketing and digital branding is that it's the brand that influences what your marketing should or can be, and how you go about marketing your business, and also what aligns with your business goals and aesthetic. A brand is not just a set of colors or a logo. It provides value to your business, it encourages brand recognition, and it is key to inspiring loyalty among your customer base. Good branding probably played a role in why you chose any of the things you purchased in the last week, and it will play a role in why you choose to purchase those things again. Branding involves consistency in all the visual aspects of your business. So your logo, your social media, your website, physical and digital business assets, the way you speak and engage with your customers, as well as your business practices. Branding is the embodiment of you, the dreams you have and have had for your business, and all the things you've learned about building the most successful version of your business and then making them look amazing. Here's a way to easily explain the power of branding. Venti Vanilla Latte. If you immediately knew that this drink would only be ordered at Starbucks and Starbucks only, just because I said the word venti instead of large, well, then you've been influenced by the incredible powerhouse that is Starbucks' marketing department. Starbucks is a great example of branding that has a worldwide reach and is now considered an institution in the coffee world. Whether any hot drink could be good enough to warrant paying $8 is another topic completely, but hey, they've branded in a way that is recognizable, sought after, and provides enough value to their customers that people budget their daily Starbucks trip into their monthly expenses. This is the kind of loyalty you want to inspire with the branding for your business. Branding for small businesses is also where my personal expertise lies. To begin defining your business branding, you're going to want to do a few things. So you're going to need to think long and hard about the 5 W's of your business. So that's the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why of your business that you are building. Asking yourself these questions and then expanding on those answers will allow you to narrow in on that ideal client, your business goals in the short and the long term, the origin story of your business, which is more important to long-term success than you think. People love a come-up story, as well as the market research that you should do to understand your industry, best practices, current trends, as well as your competitors. So I've created a mini brand discovery worksheet for you to complete on your own time, which is based off the brand discoveries I do with my own clients. This worksheet is, you guessed it, in the Google folder and will walk you through some of the questions and may help you get a clear understanding of the brand that you've been building, whether you realized it was something you were doing purposely or not. Once you've done some serious thinking about the 5 W's, you can begin to define your brand in a visual way. This is what communicates the 5 W's to your ideal clients in a way that connects and provides value. Connection is super important. To help explain the process behind creating a cohesive brand, I'm going to use Hannah Robinson Photography as an example. Hannah is a previous client of mine and came to me in early 2021, struggling with her brand identity and needed some help building something that visually felt like home for her business. Hannah is an incredible adventure photographer based out of Fredericton, New Brunswick. She started her photography business 3 years ago and focused on family portraiture, couple photography, as well as engagement and wedding photography. She was eager to focus in on her desired niche, which is adventure sessions with couples, elopements, and intimate weddings. Hannah had spent her last few years of her business developing her client base and her portfolio, but she hadn't yet invested in a cohesive brand identity. And that's where I came in. So using the heftier version of the brand discovery process I shared with you today, Hannah and I worked together to audit her business practices, uncover her goals, her accomplishments, and the pain points she was experiencing in her business. Pain points are something that we all have. There are things we are doing well and find easy to navigate, and then there's the stuff that makes our day-to-day harder than it needs to be. For Hannah, she was struggling with the visual aspect of her business assets, so her social media, her client communication, and what her brand should look like online. Together, we narrowed in on the things that make Hannah's business special, and by now, you can probably guess what that was. It was Hannah. By getting to know Hannah on a personal level, she disclosed some childhood memories that were really special to her, which ended up actually being the inspiration behind her brand. Hannah was raised by 2 generations of strong women and is a strong woman herself, and she wanted a brand that felt feminine, reminded her of a lilac tree that she adored as a child, as well as a brand that fit her personality, a creative adventure photographer who loves flowers and thrift shopping. Through the creation of collaborative mood boards, market research on adventure photographers in North America, and the integration of all the wonderful details I learned about Hannah and her business, I came up with a few logo options for Hannah to choose from. Once Hannah had selected her favorite logo, we proceeded with building her a complete brand package. A brand package is a great way to ensure aesthetic consistency in your business, which in turn trains your audience to recognize your brand and builds trust between you and your clients. To create Hannah's brand, I ensured Hannah knew what fonts should be used for her brand assets, what colors she should use on her website and her social media channels, and also delivered a variety of logo options because her primary logo might not work in every situation where branding is called for. And branding is called for in a lot of situations. In Hannah's brand package, she received a bunch of digital assets that she could print at the printer of her choice. A branded letterhead, business cards, thank you cards, and digital assets as well. An Instagram carousel post to launch her new branding on social media and introduce her brand to her clients, an email signature, and pre-made Instagram stories and highlight covers so managing her social media would feel, well, more manageable. That being said, branding is not just look, it's also about feel. This is communicated to your clients through the tone and the voice of your brand, the way you talk with your clients, the personality you portray on social media and through email communications, as well as the value that you bring to your clients. Just like aesthetics, it's important to be consistent in the way you speak with your target audience and your client base. Understanding the voice of your business is super helpful on the days where you feel kind of off and you don't want to show up online. It takes the guesswork out of how you approach your clients and ensures there is consistency in the tone of your communications. What your tone feels like is completely up to you. Some businesses decide to adopt a super casual and friendly tone of voice, while others prefer a drier, more professional one. The type of business you have, as well as the personality that you bring to the table, it will determine what voice and tone you adopt for your business brand. You will also want to ensure that the branding you create for your business encourages engagement, which we love, and will be able to grow as your business grows. It doesn't make sense to follow yearly trends, so think colors, fonts, or graphics that were super popular this year when building out a brand unless they truly feel like something that will speak to your client base for years to come. Building a brand is a big investment, both in finances and in time, and you'll want to craft a brand that will be able to handle the dreams you have now and the dreams that you have 5 years from now. It's normal to expect that every 7 to 10 years, your brand will need a refresh, and this year is a perfect example of how a lot can change in 12 months' time. But the return on investment, or ROI, is generally quick with cohesive branding. Good branding connects you with your ideal audience, and it's something that makes pretty much everything about running a business easier. Talking to your clients, posting on social media, designing a website, sending out emails, packaging, and business development. They are all more enjoyable and easier when you have a brand you love to guide those processes. Okay, so that was a lot. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to jump off on live and pause this video. So we are about halfway through our online learning session, and I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to plug their computer in, move to a more comfortable spot, grab a drink or a snack, and use the bathroom before we continue. We will resume our learning in 10 minutes, and thank you so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with me and sticking around so far. If you are comfy where you're at, please enjoy a nature stream of my backyard and relax to some nature sounds while you wait for the session to continue. Alrighty, welcome back, folks. I hope you're all able to stretch your legs and make yourself a coffee or a tea. Let's get back into it. So I've been talking a lot about your ideal audience or your ideal client, and I want to take the time to expand on that concept. An ideal client is someone who finds the perfect solution to their problems or their needs in the services or products that your company provides. The ideal client will be loyal to your business, frequently uses or buys your products or services, and is likely to recommend you to their friends, family, and their colleagues. Your ideal client will engage with you online on a regular basis. They might share your updates, they'll comment on your posts, and they'll be reading your emails. Not every client you have will be your ideal client, and in fact, it's estimated that probably only 10% of your clients are your ideal clients. But this is a crazy statistic. Your ideal clients actually make up 90% of your revenue. With those numbers, you can understand why finding your niche and positioning yourself to attract more ideal clients is extremely beneficial to your business and your wallet. To make it even more simple, imagine the most fun that you've ever had with a client or a project that made you feel so happy and accomplished that it barely felt like work. For product-based businesses, your ideal client is probably a client that buys from you frequently and is a joy to communicate with. We have most likely all experienced at one point, unfortunately, a client that we would pay money to never work with again. And zoning in on who your ideal client might be is an excellent way to ensure you rarely and maybe never have to deal with a nightmare client again. Another pro tip to avoiding nightmare clients, especially for service-based businesses where the relationship is ongoing, is setting professional boundaries for yourself and working in a vetting process to ensure you and your client will be a good fit for each other. For me, my vetting process as soon as I get an inquiry is to reach out to that person and plan an in-person meeting if we can, but during COVID times, it's more likely been a phone call, and if they're down, to jump on and do a video call where we can, see each other's faces and kind of gauge if our personalities will match. Of course, it's rare that any business will only have one type of person who is their ideal client, and most businesses will have lots of different types of people who fall into this category. Different types of people call for different types of content and strategies meant to engage and connect you. One of the best ways to determine who your ideal clients might be is to complete a persona exercise. A thorough persona workshop could actually take 2 days by itself. So we won't get super deep into this concept just for the time's sake, but it's still a very important part of understanding your business and making the most of your marketing efforts. Essentially, a persona is a proxy for your target audience. It's a valuable shorthand for someone who has the same interests, priorities, and concerns as your buyers. They help you figure out the key details about your ideal clients, like age, socioeconomic status, gender, location, marital status, family status, educational level, priorities, hobbies, and more. The persona is based on extensive research into your current client base and business goals, but are often presented by using qualitative data instead of numbers and read more like a description of a real person rather than a statistic. It also makes them really fun to put together. So building thorough personas can give you access to information that can be super valuable to you as the business owner, helping you understand what platforms your ideal clients are using, what their budget might be for your product or your service, and the amount of learning they might need to do about your business before committing to your product or service, and more. To give you an idea of how to begin defining personas for your business, we're going to complete something called an empathy map together. So empathy maps imitate some of the thinking that goes into developing personas for your business, and they will give you a good basis and some practice on how to think about the clients you want to attract, the value you must provide to do so, and how you will get them interested in your business digitally. Some of the questions you might want to ask yourself while you complete an empathy map are: what environment are your users in when using your product or your services? Are they having fun, or do they want to get it over with? And what your business is will kind of determine what that is. What's their life like outside of using your product or your services? What kind of day are they having when they arrive to work with you? You'll notice that making an empathy map is pretty easy and can be done on a blank piece of paper. So if you want to go grab a blank piece of paper, it's super easy to make one. We'll make some quick sections that mimic the ones I've drawn for you. You'll see it on my screen, and you can create your own empathy map relevant to your business while I walk you through the example. And please feel free to do that. So during this exercise, we're going to use that same contractor idea. We're going to imagine ourselves that we own a contracting business. Alrighty, so we're going to get right into what an empathy map actually can be for your business, and it is a really great resource for you to start to understand who your ideal client is and what they're thinking, what they're seeing, what influences them and their decisions, as well as the things that they're thinking about. And since this is really sort of a beginning point for how you're going to do research on a particular subset of your client base, you're going to want to think about all these things in relation to your business rather than just in general. So first up, let's open up our map here. So I'm actually going to be writing on this for you guys with a really awesome app called Notability. It's free and it allows you to write on PDF files. So it's really great for signing documents or doing stuff like this. So our first empathy map is going to be using that contractor idea that we had before. It's for a new homeowner. So one of the first things that a new homeowner is going to be thinking about is they want to make their new house feel homey on a budget. Now, that's something that we can all relate to. The first house that we buy, we want to make it cute, but we can't go outside what we can truly afford. So that's definitely something that you're going to want to be putting into the thoughts and feelings section in relation to your business. Next up, these people probably bought a fixer-upper, which is why they're going to need your services as a contractor. And they also might be nervous about home ownership. I mean, it's a big step. And then they also might be nervous about the renovations that come along with home ownership. So they might be a little bit hesitant about hiring a contractor. As a result, because they're hiring someone to do this work rather than doing the work themselves, they're worried about the budget too. So I'm just flushing out some of the ideas that I immediately had about putting myself in the shoes of a contracting business while focusing on that particular client who is a new homeowner. They want their house to be pretty. They have a fixer-upper. They're not super sure. And they want the renos that will add a return on investment in their property. And you're going to be the person who does that. So again, just fleshing out all of these ideas, trying to get it as detailed as I can when I really put myself in the shoes of this particular client that I'm wanting to reach. And going through these thoughts and feelings that this particular client might have, not just for this business, but for your business as well, it's going to allow you to sort of empathize with this person. Like, how can you help them with their problems? And it's especially this thoughts and feelings section where you're really going to narrow in on the problem, and that'll help you understand how you can then solve that issue. So the next section of an empathy map is going to be sights. So what is your client seeing? What are they noticing? What are the things that they're taking in when they're going through that marketing funnel? So of course, in our scenario here, your ideal client is probably thinking about how there's other options. I mean, you're definitely not the only contractor that they'll be able to find on Google, and it'll be the same for your business. Whether you own a painting business, whether you own a cafe, a bakery. These are all things where there are multiple people doing the same thing, and that's okay. All industries are saturated to some extent. So understanding what your potential client is looking at when they're thinking about your industry is going to help you understand how you can appeal to them. So for this particular example, we're thinking about obviously options for other contracting businesses, the prices for your services versus other similar services in their area. A younger homeowner in that category from 25 to 35, they're also probably looking at your website and your social media platforms because that's where people in that demographic are going for their information. And they probably care about the aesthetics of those things. And if you're paying attention to current trends, so if you're on social media, are you doing reels? Those sorts of things. Next up, we're going to move over into the influences of this particular client. And this is a section for you to kind of narrow in on where you think that particular client and that demographic, where are they online? What are they doing online? Where are they getting their information from? So again, for that younger homeowner demographic, they're on social media. We know this. They're probably on Pinterest, which is a place where you can make pins. It's very visually centered. They're probably looking at mood boards for inspiration. They're definitely on Instagram. And if they're a new homeowner, they're probably following do-it-yourself bloggers and kind of comparing what they could potentially do on their own time with their own knowledge set versus what you could accomplish for them as a contractor. They're probably looking at reviews online for your business and really taking in the ease of your website because I think a lot of times younger clients they very much relate your website and your digital knowledge and they think of it as, okay, is this person a competent person? So that's why it's so important to have a good kind of vibe online. They're also probably just like any other customer, they're interested in what they're hearing in real life. So that's IRL, the reviews and the recommendations that they're getting from people that they know and people who might have worked with you before. So we're going to move on to the fourth quadrant, which is actions and quotes. Again, you can be kind of creative with this process. You don't have to zero in on anything, whatever you think is going to really help your business grow and for you to understand the client that you're trying to reach. But let's just say for this scenario, these people, they want a pretty home, but on a budget. We already sort of spoke about that in the thoughts and the feelings, but we're going to flesh it out more because I think that's what their priority would be, their biggest priority. A lot of millennials, they prefer to text versus call. I am not one of those people. I would prefer a call, but statistics kind of say that millennials and people in a younger age demographic, they like the ability to just text, and a lot of people have sort of fears around getting on a call and speaking to someone they don't know. They also probably want to see their options and be part of the design process with frequent updates so they can feel like they're, a part of this huge life stage, which is to be expected. So here is really a section for you to kind of think about, okay, what are these people saying? What are they thinking about? What are some of the actions that they would probably want done and want when they're working with me? What are the things that I expect they'll want to do? So for a younger homeowner, let's say imagine a couple, probably both partners are invested in the project. It's not just going to be the male partner, most likely the female partner, or if they're a same-sex partnership, both partners, they're going to be invested in this project because a lot of times the home ownership is a dual project. It's not something that people can do on their own. So the last two sections is pains and gains. Obviously the biggest pain probably for them will be lack of budget and the lack of time. That's where they're hiring a contractor. And some of the gains that they have or gains for you for working with this particular client would be that they have a good sense of style. They know what they want and they need because they are constantly online and they know exactly what they're looking for. And they're easy to work with. just because they are so in tune with what they want. Sometimes it can be really difficult. I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced a client who doesn't really know, they're a bit wishy-washy, and so it's good to work with someone who knows exactly what they want. So that's what I'm kind of imagining for a younger couple. The last thing that's kind of tricky, that might be tricky about working with a couple in this demographic would be that they might be picky about materials. A lot of younger people are very invested in eco-friendly options, and that could be tricky for you as a contractor. So hopefully this gives you kind of an overview of what an empathy map can be. And I'm just going to kind of go through, now that we've done that work, let's kind of talk about what we've actually learned from doing that exercise. And so I'm just doing this exercise for you guys so you can understand how to do it on your own time. So we've created just one persona out of many. Obviously, as a contracting business, you're not just going to be working with new homeowners who are a couple, probably married, that kind of thing. There's going to be tons of people that you're working with, and it's going to be the exact same for your business. So this is just one example of one type of client. But this is really valuable information because you're going to learn from this exercise exactly where you can go to reach that client, where you should be putting your efforts online for that type of client. And if that client is a huge subset of your potential revenue for the year, then this can be exceptionally valuable. So after doing that exercise, I'm sure you would probably agree, social media is going to be a great resource for reaching the young home ownership demographic. So, and to do that, to kind of appeal to this sort of client, it would be maybe a good idea to show some of the before and afters of past clients that you've worked with, of what their house looked before you came into the project and once the project was completed, because that allows you to mimic the do-it-yourself Instagram influencers that your client is probably already following and might even be comparing your work to. So that would be a good place to start with Instagram strategy, is kind of looking at some of these really popular do-it-yourself Instagram bloggers. Some of them have upwards of 100,000 followers, so clearly they're making great content, and then kind of taking some of those ideas and applying them to your own business. So we can probably find a lot of resources through Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok. Those are places that you'd kind of want to explore. And obviously, you don't have to do all of them. If you don't have the time to do all of them, which probably I wouldn't blame you, because that's a lot of work. Pick one, if maybe two, if you think you can do that consistently, and then really jump into it and make sure you're doing it consistently. The other thing that we've probably learned from this exercise for this young homeownership demographic is that we need to appeal to beauty on a budget. So making things look really nice, maybe on trend, without a huge price tag. So that's something that you can kind of put into the content that you're making, in your captions on Instagram, on your website, making sure that you have kind of like a value package potentially, as well as the ease of process. So a younger couple, they don't have a lot of time. You want to make sure that there's a simple onboarding process and great ways to communicate, so the client can be part of your project as much as possible. So that kind of covers the empathy map, and I hope that was a useful exercise for you, and that you learned a bit about how to approach narrowing in on one subset of your ideal audience and your ideal client, and then take that information that you've learned or gleaned from the exercise and then apply it to some marketing strategies. So a good way to think about your client relations is to stop thinking of your clients as a way to make money. And that sounds kind of weird, because of course passion and income are usually the main reasons behind starting your own business. But for the sake of digital marketing, let's try to reframe your client relations as a friendship. How would you treat a friend? You would probably go above and beyond for your friend. You would try to stay up to date with what is going on in their lives, the things that make them happy or upset. And it's this attention to detail and emotion that can really help you foster true and authentic connections with your clients. Translating this idea to digital marketing, imagine yourself finding a funny photo on the internet and knowing that your friend would find it funny too. You might tag them in the photo or send it to them in an email. And it's the same when running your business and matching your digital marketing efforts to your clients' needs or goals. Just like you know what is funny to a close friend, understanding your clients on an intimate level will allow you to instinctively understand what they want to see and experience from your business, both online and in person. This positions you well to make and share content, so social media posts, emails, or even new products and services that provides value to your clients, which will only benefit your business and increase your ability to make money, whether that be through raising your prices or completing more projects or orders. And sometimes getting more projects, having more projects ongoing and if you're struggling, you're having to waitlist people, this is a good time to raise your prices because it means that your demand is super high. So there are two types of business communication. Businesses who communicate with customers or clients, also known as B2C. This is most likely the majority of you on the webinar today. And then businesses who communicate to other businesses. So that's B2B. B2B communication is often a little different than that business to client communication because your proposition of value is altered. Instead of trying to make an intimate emotional connection with your clients through an amazing service or product, you're not creating a shared value experience. B2B communication is often centered around how your business can help another company save either time or money. And as a result, business-to-business communication is often less fluffy and does not involve the same amount of personality as B2C communication. Of course, there are always exceptions to every rule, and your business might be the exception. Alrighty, so we're back at questions again. So if you had any questions about the empathy map or any of the things that we've talked about in branding, now is your time to ask the questions. I'll pause the video and we can do some live question answering. So now that you have a great foundation of what digital marketing is all about, let's chat about how you can make it work for your business. This part of the session will integrate seamlessly into next week's session on social media. So if you are intrigued with these topics, then you are going to love this social media webinar. First up, we're going to be talking about integrating your branding into digital marketing efforts. So we already covered the importance of branding and what it can do for your business, but how do you use your branding in digital marketing? The real question is, how don't you use your branding in digital marketing? Because you're going to use it everywhere. When done right, you'll be constantly referring back to the visual and emotional guides that build your brand. Approved fonts and colors will be the only fonts and colors you have to worry about working with, which means easier designing on your part. Worried about packaging a product effectively or announcing something on your social media channels? Pick a favorite brand color, write your announcement or your slogan in your font, and then slap on a logo and bam, you've got professional, brand-approved social or packaging content that your clients will recognize and connect with. The beauty of having a cohesive brand is that it takes a lot of that guesswork out of building any business asset you might require, leaving you to just come up with the asset idea. What will it be? Maybe business merch, a new sign, maybe updated menus, and then the copy that disseminates the required information in the tone and the voice that you've already decided on. Easy peasy. Next up is a website. The first thing I want to address, and I'm going to be super honest here, which you'll know because website development is a huge part of my business, and that is that not every business is at a point in their development where a website is absolutely necessary, and that's just the truth. Many businesses are positioned in a way where they can easily get away with a thoughtful, well done, and updated. Updated is very important. I will keep talking about that over and over again. So updated social media platforms or platform. Having a business Facebook page can help you avoid building out a website for a while because Facebook allows you to have features like booking, sending inquiries directly to your business email address, and you're going to want to have a business email address. Make sure that you're not getting clients to email you at like flowerpower24. That's not professional. So set yourself up with a business Google account. That's a really good way to spend a little amount of money every year so that you can have a website address that really speaks to your business and is on brand. For many of you, having all of these things, like, being able to put your business hours, location, pricing, that's what you would want a website for anyway. There are, however, a lot of benefits, and I can talk about the benefits forever, to having your own website. The first is that it's owned by you, which gives a lot of power and agency to you as the business owner. Your business branding will be much easier to implement than on a social platform and show off if you have your own website. So it allows you to build a web presence through Google if you're ensuring that you're always updating your website and adding relevant, good content. Many businesses who choose to operate their own website also choose to run a blog where they can post relevant articles or updates on their business that provide value for their target audience and are full of keywords that help them rank highly on Google. So this is called search engine optimization, and it's relevant to when I was talking about that Google algorithm. So search engine optimization, or SEO for short. And in simple terms, it means the process of improving your site to increase its visibility for relevant searches. So the better visibility your pages have in search results, the more likely you are to garner attention and attract existing customers to your business. Search engines like Google, and I also included a really cool Google alternative in the free resource packet, which actually for every search you make, it plants a tree, which is a really cool thing if you're interested in making your business a little bit more eco-friendly. So these search engines use virtual bots to crawl pages on the web, going from website to website, collecting information about those pages, and then putting them into a massive digital database. Next, intelligent algorithms are going to analyze the pages in that database using hundreds of factors to determine the order of pages when a particular search is made. So some of these factors are quality content, keyword availability, accessibility, and mobile friendliness. All things that help determine what the user experience will be like once a user finds your website. SEO helps to level the playing field online because, like I mentioned before, you can't pay Google to rank higher. You just have to design an awesome, user-friendly website that has great, relevant content. Many social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, they've adopted algorithms that make the platforms function like a search engine, which is great news for small businesses. Using relevant keywords and optimizing your social media content, like the keywords you use in your captions, your hashtags, your accessibility descriptions, as well as your bios. If you're optimizing that content with keywords, it will help level that playing field for smaller accounts that used to struggle to reach their ideal audience. And I'm going to talk more about that in the next webinar. As you might expect, branding is still important when it comes to a website. It's actually really important when it comes to a website. Your website needs to have a clear brand identity so you can build trust with your target audience. When building a website, the most important things you need to consider are logo. Is your brand's logo clear and present? Your logo should be at the top of your website, big enough for viewers to read, but not so large that it is overwhelming. Make sure that it links back to your home page. Next up is branding colors. So use a color palette that is pleasing to the eye. Please, please, please don't use fluorescent colors because they can be jarring and they're going to turn people away. Make sure to also use colors that go well together. If you're unsure of what colors to use, Pinterest is a great resource for finding color combinations, and I have a lot of other options listed in the free resource packet. Next up is cohesive fonts. So use no more than 3 fonts on your website. Too many fonts can make your website look cluttered and sloppy, so you want to stick to an easy on the eyes body copy font that has enough contrast in its color to be able to read. It's important to remember that not everyone has amazing eyesight, and some of your clients might be using accessibility devices to navigate your website. To explain that a little bit more, if you were to have like a white background on your website and then maybe a pale pink or pale any color font choice, then it's probably likely that an accessibility device won't be able to pick up that copy, and now you've missed out on an opportunity to connect with a potential client. So make sure there's contrast there. You'll also want to make sure you have brand images. So do the images on your site speak to your ideal client? You want to stay away from cheesy stock images. They're going to cost a lot of money, and you'd probably be better suited to just hire a photographer. It'll likely cost the same or even less. If you invest in your own brand images, use the same colors you picked for your color palette. Maybe your jacket is the same color as your logo, or the prompts you use in your images are complementary to the colors you use on your site. It's okay to have fun when building out your collection of brand images, and in fact, it's recommended to avoid those stuffy photos that feel like stock photos instead of you and your awesome business. Brand images are really important to your website and your social media platforms, which is why I am offering mini branding sessions to the first 25 people who signed up for those webinars. So I'm looking forward to meeting those people. Next up is an email list opt-in, and having an email list is a must. There are plenty of free email marketing software options out there that can easily integrate with your website. Email lists are a great way to gain direct access to potential customers. And having an email list is important for online businesses because you have that direct access to people's inboxes. Social media will probably go away one day, so don't put all your eggs into a basket that owns your followers. I've heard countless stories of people who have built their social media following up to 100,000 people, 1 million people. And it happens to smaller accounts too, where just one day you can't get into your Instagram account. And if that's the only way that you've been connecting with your audience, then all that work is for naught, because it sometimes takes years to get back into your account if you are ever able to get back into it again. So you always want to make sure that if you're investing into social media, you also have a backup plan, and a website or an email list is a great way to get started on that. So here are a few ideas to grow and nurture your email list. The first thing is offering a freebie. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but offering an incentive to get subscribers onto your email list is a great tool for growth. So think about your ideal client and the pain points they might have, and what kind of content can you offer them for free that will help alleviate that pain. Maybe it's a tutorial or a guide walking them through a specific service you offer, or a product that you love, that you sell. You want to provide helpful content. With an email list, you have that direct access to people on your list. They've opted in to hear directly from you. So you want to use your list as a platform to share your story, promote your latest blog post maybe, and to position yourself as an expert in your field or the best in the biz. Focus on providing helpful content that your ideal client will see value in. By providing helpful content, you begin to build trust with your ideal audience. They'll see you as the go-to person for their needs in your particular industry. And when they need that product or service, your name will be at the top of their list. So that's the ideal scenario. You can apply these same tips to your social media presence as well. The next thing your website absolutely needs is an about page. The about page is often the first place people go to get more information about a business or the person running the business. Your about page shouldn't be an afterthought because it's a vital part of your overall website strategy. You're going to want to use it as an opportunity to infuse your personality and your brand story into your site. Customers buy from you if they trust you. So your about page gives you a chance to be visible to your ideal clients so they can connect with you, and customers are more likely to buy from people they can relate to. They want to know who you are, so share a bit about yourself. If you're not sure what to put on your about page, a photo is a good place to start. So include a current image of yourself. A professional photo is ideal, but even a casual snapshot can do wonders. My only advice for photos is please, please, please don't use a selfie. So that's the situation where you're like, maybe a duck face in there. Ask a friend, a colleague, or a loved one to take a picture of you, and maybe a few to choose from, in an outfit that you feel comfortable and confident in, and in a setting that has bright, natural lighting. People buy from people. So don't act like a faceless corporation. You aren't one. Feel free to get more personal on your about page. When you're a small business working one-on-one with clients, people want to get a sense of who you are before they reach out. Remember a little while ago when I mentioned the dreaded nightmare clients? So this tip is going to help you avoid these if you decide to have a website or even a social media business account, and that is a contact page. For service-based businesses, your contact page is your first line of defense against any red flag clients. A red flag is a warning sign that working with this particular client is going to be a nightmare. And for me, if a potential client or lead is unable to take the time to fill out my contact page with thought and care, it's probably likely that they won't make the time to answer more detailed questions when we start working together. And in my line of work, I need to get to know you really well because I'm actually creating stuff that is based on your personality and the things that you like, the things that you don't like. So using your contact page as a filter for red flags, as well as getting more info on the project or the product a client is after, it's a great way to save time and frustration for yourself. Some great questions to ask on your contact form is, how did you hear about me? What is your goal for this project or the product that you're after? Can you show some examples of similar projects or products that you like? When are you hoping to have this project completed by? Product-based businesses that have e-commerce websites that allow you to sell your products online, will also benefit from a contact form, but you'll likely need to adjust your questions because your contact form will more often be used for customer service inquiries. Okay, so that brings us to questions. Does anyone have any questions that came up over the last few minutes of me chatting? I'm going to pause the video and then answer those questions live. Alrighty, so well folks, that brings me to the end of the digital marketing training. That was a lot to take in. To summarize, digital marketing is the strategy and the processes that connect businesses with their audiences across digital channels. Digital marketing refers to all of the different channels that you decide to participate in, each used to uniquely engage audiences and tackle various goals of the marketing funnel. Digital marketing and the associated strategies allow you to connect with your target audience in real time and build authentic relationships that will benefit your business and convert onlookers into regular customers that believe in what you do. Our breakout session today is called what I'm going to coin Pain Point Pep Talk. This is a chance for us to collaborate live on some of the problems we all face as business owners when it comes to digital marketing. If your pain point relates more to social media, hold off on sharing until next weekend when our entire webinar focuses on social media. We'll be having a pain point pep talk there too. This is a chance for you to share some of the challenges you've had in your business and digital marketing techniques. And I'm going to do my best to share some advice on how to overcome those challenges. Many of us will be facing the same hurdles, and there is a lot of camaraderie in going through the same thing. As small business owners in a rural place, we all do better when our approach is about community over competition. So that brings us to the end of our video. I'm gonna pause this and come on live, and we're gonna go through our pain point pep talk.